Raoul, hey, such a pleasure. Thanks for taking time for the German community. Many people, big fan of yours. Yeah, very much looking forward to the next hour and discussing a couple of really exciting things with you.
Well, thanks for asking me. Great to be here.
You are in Cayman right now, I take?
Yeah, I'm back in Little Cayman. I keep moving between Grand Cayman and Little Cayman, so my backdrop keeps moving. But I'm a house in Little Cayman right now.
Cool. Many people ask me, you don't feel lonely on there, or yeah?
Well, I've got a wife. My mother's here over. My Dutch mother's over from Spain, where she lives. She's here right now. Got 2 dogs as well. So and there's we got a bunch of friends here on Ireland. But I mainly live in Grand Cayman. But I popped over because I wanted to bring my mum over to Little Cayman, and I do some writing over the weekend here because it's nice and peaceful.
A good mentor of mine, John Rost, actually also lives on Grand Cayman. I don't know if you've ever come across big kite surfer. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I've not, but you need to introduce me.
I'll definitely do it. He's a cool guy. Yeah, he's really awesome. So yeah, cool. Hey, I want to dive right in. First question: Bitcoin, cryptocurrency or crypto asset for you?
Currently a crypto asset, and the highest quality of all. So I kind of pioneered the pristine collateral. Because it's got no claims against it, how it operates. It's a store of value clearly right now, but it has these other attributes as well because it hasn't got to full moneyness yet. So we're seeing the adoption curve take place. So that means it's pretty useless as a currency per se because it moves too much in value. So as a store of value, it's great because the skew of that value accumulation is to the upside. But really, as money, not useful. As a transmission mechanism, we're seeing things like bottle pay and strike showing that the blockchain can be used as a transmission mechanism on the lightning layer. But as yet, as money, Elon Musk has been talking about, selling Teslas for Bitcoin.
He just launched today. Yeah, he just launched today.
Yeah, why on earth would you part with your Bitcoin in the middle of a bull cycle to buy a car? It literally is the most stupid thing in the world. You're better off to get a 6-month bank loan in the meantime, buy the car, then pay off the loan.
Do you think actually a deflationary asset as Bitcoin? I mean, at the moment, it's still a little bit inflationary, but at some point there will be more Bitcoins lost than created. Do you actually think a deflationary asset like Bitcoin can ever be a currency?
I've been thinking a lot through this, actually. I'm trying to think like 10 or 20 years ahead. Okay, so let's say the Bitcoin maximalists are right, and Bitcoin is the kind of the predominant store of value and currency. Well, in that world, it becomes the denominator against which we judge all assets. Now, if it's so deflationary that it goes up in price all the time, it means that everybody else will only put their money in Bitcoin and not other assets, unless you get short-term cyclical moves in other assets. That would tend to make Bitcoin outperform all assets, which stops all productive use of capital. It drives M2, money supply, Bitcoin money supply to zero. So I don't think it's healthy over the long run for it to be a deflationary asset. We kind of are stuck in this inflation-deflation world that we live in right now. That there's a huge bunch of debtors, so people don't want deflation. And then savers want deflation, but not inflation. But if we go into a world where the denominator keeps going up against everything, i.e. everything else deflates against it, that's a problem. Because as a business, you earn less and less money every year. So, I'm not entirely convinced that this is a good thing. And for this reason, one of the reasons, I don't believe that it is the only asset. I think it is a pristine asset. It has attributes, but it won't be everything.
I've seen your fair share on Twitter fighting against some of the Bitcoin maxi trolls. I also hold altcoins. Where do you see value in altcoins? How do you see the value? How do you see the notion from a lot of Bitcoin maximalists that the only thing valuable in the world right now seems to be Bitcoin?
Yeah, I just don't buy into that argument. I understand there's a probability of it. So, I'm not saying it's a 0% chance. There is a probability. This whole idea that anything that is a utility trades at the cost of electricity, I just think is false. I think it's false because of Metcalfes law, adoption effects. And we've seen that time and time again. Now, when John Pfeffer wrote the paper that everybody refers to, every Bitcoin maximus holds as like, here is the prophet of truth, he basically wrote off network effects. So I went and proved it, that network effects operate perfectly in Ethereum. In fact, it operates in every one of these. In fact, all new technologies are network effect driven. So I don't believe that utilities have a zero function. Some that are badly designed may do, but most I don't believe will. The hard question is which ones are going to succeed and which ones aren't. I don't know the answer to that. So there is a maximalist school of thought is we all got caught out in 2017 because we bought these tokens and they went to zero. Guess what? They were all early stage projects. And if you understand how the VC world works, 80% of what you invest in is going to go to zero or go nowhere. And it's really the 20%, 10%, 5% that you make the money in. So what was the one out of 2000 that did well, out of 2017? Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is around today. It hasn't taken out its peak versus Bitcoin yet, but it's taken out its all-time high. Will it outperform Bitcoin over time? Who knows? I think for a period of time, certainly. And I think over a longer period of time, probably. So how I look at this is Bitcoin is currently $1 trillion-ish, and the rest of the space is, call it $700 or $800 million. If I look at the equity space or the fixed income space or the credit space globally, they're all about 300 to 500 trillion. So if this is truly as disruptive as we think it is, which is the internet of value, then it's going to be worth something like that, if not more. So the whole space looks like it can go to up 200x from here, at least. Okay, that's, you know, we've never had this before. Whole asset class is going up 200x. But that's what adoption effects do. And that's what this whole parallel system that's being built. We know we've got this broken system that we live in now. You know, whether you're European, Japanese, American, we all know that we've got this debt burden system where the banking system doesn't function. There's a terrible disparity between the rich and the poor. You know, wages aren't increasing, all of the problems that we've got. Then over here, there's a bunch of really smart people in the thousands or tens of thousands who are building an alternative system. And people are slowly migrating across. And that is not just a system of money. And that's where a lot of the Bitcoin people get confused between money and value. Assets have value. They don't have to be money. A Picasso is not money. It is value. So I think those two things are different. And I think once the whole space builds interoperability, you and I won't care what platform we're buying and selling or streaming on. You know, you'll be streaming for money in real-time payments, and you don't care whether it's on Tron, you know, whatever. I mean, it's irrelevant to you as long as you get paid whatever source of money you want, be it Bitcoin or euros or dollars or whatever you choose. You know, it's that early stage that people are fighting over the wrong thing.
In what other cryptocurrencies do you see value at the moment?
The answer is I don't know. I see value in the space. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough bandwidth to go through all of these because they all sound super interesting, right? Everything's like, oh my God, that's incredible. Oh, wow, that sounds amazing. Problem is what's going to get network effects and what's not? What's going to find the use cases? What's going to find the developers? I don't know. Ethereum, for sure. I mean, that's a surefire you know, major platform that is going to play a major part in the future. But the others, I honestly don't know, you know. So I just bought a basket of 10 alts. I did it in a very unscientific way. If my thesis is network effects, I went onto Twitter and said, shill me your best alts.
You counted which one got shilled the most?
I kind of looked at it and I could figure it out, right? And it basically breaks down to DeFi, decentralized exchanges, some alternative protocols, and the interoperability layer. And amongst those, you pretty much cover everything. So I just kind of did an allocation equally weighted amongst those and took kind of what seemed to be the largest market cap that had the most number of smart people interested in it. That wasn't based on just kind of the hype cycle, but had some really interesting people involved. Whether it was investors in, you know, if you look at Polkadot, I mean, there's serious people behind Polkadot. So you have to take it seriously. Whether it works or not, who knows? But you can take it seriously. And so you then have to size it. You have to size it accordingly as well, because you're going to have to realize a bunch of these just aren't going to work out. But a few of them
you
will.
have to be willing to lose. Yeah,
that's right.